meeting to order. Todd, can you please take attendance?
Done.
Cool. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Thanks, Mara. A second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Cool. Same for approval of minutes. Can I get, oh, well, first off, did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Does anybody have any questions about it? If not, can I get an approval for the minutes from, what month were we in? October.
I'll move to approve the October 6th minutes.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All approve. Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, great. Thanks, everybody. Doesn't look like there's anybody here who would be here for public comment. So we'll just keep rolling on. I do not have anything for the chair's report. That's not going to be covered later on. Nor do I have anything for the vice chair's report from Chris. So Todd.
I also do not have anything.
Cool. Mary, you said you had something to share. You're muted.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
I put in the chat box the link to the report. At the last city council meeting, we had a work session because there was a focus group that was done with the Latinx community to see how they perceive the city and how they were getting public service and things like that. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about the highlights, but if you want to see it in full, the link is in the chat box. Because my technology challenges here, I wasn't able to share it with everybody. But it was done through Mira, which is an agency that serves the Latinx community. And they put together a focus group that had homeowners, renters, a variety of ages, and of, other things. And they asked them about accessing city services and connecting to the city of Richfield. And 5 out of 6 participants indicated that they did not know how or where to get access to city services. And barriers were things like language, immigration status, transportation, and navigating the services. And so we're going to be trying to work to remedy some of this, but I thought it would be something that would be pertinent that you all might be interested in. They talked about language being a barrier, that not all city services have things in Spanish. And they also talked about immigration status is an issue because some of the services may need a social security number. There might be questions about immigration status, or they said that city staff might share their immigration status with their agencies. So they just don't participate in city services because they're afraid of that. And it might be that some members of the families have citizenship and some don't, and they're trying to protect their extended family. They also talked about issues with transportation and lack of access to driver's license, access to cars. A lot of people didn't know how to use public transportation. Navigating the services, they don't know what the services are that are offered, and only 1 out of 6 knew how to access information on the city services. So when they asked the people where they did get their information, they went to places like Facebook, Mira, Pika, the Head Start, Relative Schools, and WhatsApp. So Allegra, you'll be happy to know that the schools did provide a lot of the information. And then they went on to say what kind of information and services they wanted. So I just thought that this group might be interested in accessing that and looking over it, and especially when you're thinking about your work plan. So that's what I wanted to share tonight.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on what you consider to be city services?
I think they were talking about things like going to the city for help with anything from like the building permits and the community development to fire to police, anything the city does. It could be snow plowing and understanding about when to get your car off the street, your water meter service, anything involving city government. And so that we thought it was really important to ask, and we found out we have a lot of work to do. And so I just wanted to share that and put it forward to people. I know they're revamping the website, and hopefully some of that will get fixed, because I know they are making that more accessible for people with disabilities. And I think they're going to try and also add more language and stuff to it. So we don't have the answers, but we certainly know that we have a lot of stuff we need to fix. And so that's going to be a big priority in the next year.
Mary, from the perspective of the commission, are there places where you see us being able to help advance something in particular related to either connecting with these groups or the programming that the services that they're looking to have more of?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know you guys were talking about what the needs were out in the community. And so I don't have the answers to that, but I did think you'd be interested in being aware of it, that that's one of the things that we need to work on. So I wish I had all the answers, and I know Blanca Martinez Gavinia has been working as a liaison with this group as well. And so she has done a lot. So and I think that whoever gets hired as the new equity coordinator will help as well. Mm-hmm. So first you have to know what you need to fix. Because if you don't know what you don't know, at least we now know these are things that need to be fixed.
Yeah, I really appreciate getting all of that. I just think it's a great step for gathering baseline data and being able to identify some problems. And it's really comprehensive. So do you know how they, I'm just curious, was it like, did Mira figure out the survey process and how to collect the data? I imagine that would have been kind of a big task.
It took a while because they were just about to start it when the pandemic hit, but they were able to try and find a cross section. And that was part of the issue, is trying to find a cross section of people. And then they had to have people that had access to the internet because of the pandemic.
Sure.
So they did eventually find people, and the people that were in the focus group are really excited about helping solve the problems. They want to get involved and help fix it. So I think that is they can be leaders in helping to solve the problems.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in the asking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mary, maybe a better question is if over the next couple of months, as we're about the 2021 plan, and especially as new members come on board, if we want to develop an idea around some of these items, that I'm particularly looking at the focus group highlights related to what residents would like to see. If we come up with some ideas there, where would the council be open to hearing them and or partnering? Like if we reach out to Blanca, do you think that would be an option?
I'm guessing they probably would be very open to that.
Cool.
And I think Todd's trying to say something, but he was muted.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. No, I was going to say the same thing. I think this is great information, and I think this would be a great thing, like as we move into 2021, for the HRC to partner with the city on. Yeah, this. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's good information. I mean, it's good to find those problems.
I can carry that message back that you guys are interested.
Thank you.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. Allegra, did you want to, I thank you for sending that link out. Sorry for providing misinformation about how to collect the feedback. You're on mute, but now you're good. So yes, I get we can have a discussion now, but it's also helpful if people write their own thoughts officially in the form that you provided. Thank you.
And it was not misinformation. Last time I made a point of saying that I'm a great note taker. And then upon reflecting, I was like, they should probably just directly give their feedback. but that I didn't want to stifle any discussion that folks might want to have about it at the meeting with the form.
Awesome. I know this is really meant for reports, and I kind of have it in two places on the agenda, like as a formal place on the agenda or talking about it now. So I had a couple of comments and questions about the policy, and I'm not sure if others had a chance to read it, but we can certainly open it up for a broader comment now. So first, my comment, I really love that the school put this policy together. I love the spirit of it and the intent, especially the framing around specifically that they don't want to see, you know, basically all the I forget how it's framed. I don't even have it in front of me, but it's much better written than how I'm going to say it, about how you don't want to see any differences among achievement scores by demographics. And I thought that was a really lovely way to think about this. And then I'm really glad that there's that definition section to ground everybody in the same language. So I thought that was a great idea. And one of the questions I had was there's a lot of actions outlined about what is going to happen in what groups and levels. And I'm just curious, the timeline, like the hopeful timeline for making that stuff happen. Like, is it a year work plan, a 2-year work plan? When do you hope to have some actionable things to get you on that pathway to the big dream?
So in regards to like the commitments?
Yes. Yeah. I'm opening it up now so I can get the right language. Yes. To the commitments. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good question. And I don't think we have identified a timeline yet with our planning. And I think that's good feedback, like that I can't answer that question. And that could be incorporated into the policy as well, especially like in the opening.
I think it would help with accountability for all the parties involved in the commitments.
Yeah, and that was the one thing I noticed too is and this may not be the place of the purpose of a policy necessarily, because I know it's kind of laying out guidelines, but there are a lot of commitments, but I didn't see any kind of, how are we going to measure, whether those commitments are being fulfilled. I know there was some language later about, certain parties may propagate regulations and things like that, but again, I understand that this is meant to be kind of a district policy, not a 47-page detailed step-by-step plan.
I echo the same thing, like thoughts in my head about there's this really grand idea of where we want to go related to student achievement data. And again, I get it's just a policy, but the commitments are so, like, they're really enticing. Like, they really urge you to think about those incremental steps. Like, how will you know that they're working? Especially since changes like that in student data could take a couple of years to be realized. So how do you know you're on the right path? Yeah, as Todd, that might all be in background information related to each of the individual commitments. Mara, I see you. You're excited to say something.
You're on mute, Mara. It happens to the best of us.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I know what I was saying was that as the transgender representative of this commission, I'm in a category of humans that is pretty much near the bottom of the food chain when it comes to getting treated badly. Therefore, I am just very appreciative of this and supportive, and if there's anything I can do to help implement it, I'm in. That's all I got.
I love it. Thank you, Mara.
Does anybody else have any other comments that they'd like to share with Allegra? And as a reminder, you can always add comments after the fact in the Google form that was shared.
But yeah, to echo Mara, I just want to say I think it's great that this is being done. I think it's very important, and it's good to see. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a leadership thing. I mean, is any other suburb doing that or any other city? I don't know that's happening. So it's great. It's kind of groundbreaking, wonderful. Yay.
Thanks so much for sharing it with us, Allegra. We think we all look forward to seeing how things develop from here. I guess just a process question. Is this considered final now, or is this still like a draft?
No, it'll probably be a fairly long process. With this policy in particular, they want to make sure that all of the school parent committees give feedback, that are safe and support schools give feedback, that staff get opportunities to give feedback. So I would say it's kind of like our nutrition policy that we rewrote. Like, it's one of those where it's like, no, we really want to get this right, so we're going to spend some time to make sure that we have a lot of voices and input. So I really appreciate the feedback that you gave, and I did take notes that I will share, but please do, especially anything specific with language or anything like that, feel free to make comments in the form.
Have you, just out of curiosity, have any parent groups seen this yet? And if yes, what's been the general reaction so far?
I don't think they have yet. On November 17th, we're having a meeting for families and I believe just the greater community to give feedback on the, when it's late at night and you can't remember the word, but basically the
strategic plan.
There we go, strategic plan. Thank you. So I believe as part of that, this time they're also going to introduce the equity policy, which
Will there
isn't
be public comment at that meeting?
I think anyone can attend. It's not as formal of a meeting as this. Like they don't have
Well,
the
the
right
question
rules.
really is there going to be a sign up to speak event there?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll ask Superintendent Unowski and let you know, Mara.
Yeah, that'd be great because I would love to stand up and speak in favor.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Allegra, for letting us be part of that.
For sure. And Mara, if for some reason that isn't an option, we do have public comment at school board meetings as well that you can pre-record, you can submit in writing, or you can attend in person. And I think that would also be a powerful place to have you speak in support.
Great. Well, let me know when the best time to show up is, and I'll be there.
I love it. Thank you.
Okay.
Deputy Chief Flaherty, do you have anything to report?
I do not.
I have a question for you just surrounding this past week and just curious if there's been any rumblings in Richfield in either direction on either sides, or if it's been fairly quiet since Tuesday.
And Richfield has been fairly quiet. We had additional staffing ready, and we still do, but so far so good.
Cool. I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I do too.
Awesome. So the new business, the biggest new business, which we talked about last time, was to reframe or to frame our conversation like we're tired, we're emotionally tired, we're spent. And one of the best things we can do with our remaining time, elections, by the way, are happening in January, 2 months away. So we should be thinking about what new leadership for the commission looks like. is to put together a draft plan that new commission can use as a jumping off point, because there's going to be a lot of new faces. And as many of us have learned, it's difficult when there's a lot of new commissioners and there's a lot of relearning to have happen. So it sounded like people were interested in coming up with a draft plan, knowing that new commissioners are going to have their own thoughts and opinions, and it may change. So the 2020 work plan, hang on, did I put together a blank one? Sorry, guys. This time I had the agenda up and ready because I'm always floundering with that. And, now I have a new document that I need to find. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's see if I can share my screen. If not, I can send this out to everybody. So this is the 2020 work plan. Hang on, I'm getting there. I swear it. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Cool. So that's the 2020 work plan, and what we can do, not necessarily today fill it out together, but I think we should talk about some of these ideas. There are some hallmark things that hopefully we can bring back that we didn't get a chance to do because of COVID-19. So those signature events, bring them back, and then start to brainstorm what these other things could be, like, for example, things related to the Latinx presentation that Mary just shared.
Heather,
yeah.
Can you make that a little larger? It's really small on my screen.
It's really small on my screen too, which is probably your problem because
There's a zoom on the left side.
Yeah, and at the bottom. There you go. There you go.
Left side of the screen.
Woo! All right. Is that good? Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Awesome. And in your old files, you should have some version of this as well. So we should start to think about like the big buckets of areas that we want to work on, and maybe start to characterize what that work could look like, so that by in December, I would like to have a robust discussion about what that draft work might look like. And then we can pass that on to new leadership in January, February for the new commission to review, make edits, additions, and then take full ownership over it. What do you guys think?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
I have an idea for an addition. And
Okay.
Should I bring that up here or should I wait till the open forum?
Oh, no, hang on. Let me just get to a place where I can take notes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can figure that out. And instead, I think everybody on the commission, Todd, you should correct me if I'm wrong on this, which I could very well be. Everybody on the commission has access to the drive theoretically, right?
They should have, yes.
Cool. Let's test that out. Here is a link to that document that I just had up, so you can look on your own screens. And while we have this discussion, I'm going to take notes so that I can go back in and fill this out in a draft format for our review and further clarification and edits for the December meeting.
That link isn't working for me.
Is it working for anybody?
What do you get, Mara?
Well, all I can do is move the cursor around on the hyperlink. It
Oh,
doesn't
you
open
can't.
it.
You can't click on it. Like it doesn't actually let you.
Right. Yeah, it just moves the cursor around. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't
Huh.
activate the site or whatever. Yeah. I
Okay,
don't know.
for Allegra,
Maybe if I highlight it and then try.
or copy and paste it. Oh well, I suppose if you can't If you can
Yeah,
highlight it
I'll
and copy
copy
it.
it.
That's all right. I can get to it. I clicked on the hyperlink and got to it. So
Didn't work.
might be something through Mara's computer, but I can get to it.
Okay.
I am copying and pasting now, so that should work.
Awesome. All right.
Might also have to do if, do you have any kind of Google stuff since it's on a Google
Yeah,
Drive?
I've got it.
Okay.
Okay, great. So a couple of key things that we had talked about doing, and so it seemed like we were pretty committed to, were revamping the Outstanding Citizen Award process criteria. And that would need to happen pretty early in the year. That would need to be one of the first projects that would be managed so that everything would be ready to go by about the April meeting or so. And I'm going to take notes here and just write that like early 2021 project. The bylaws have to be reviewed next year. That is written into our bylaws that they are reviewed every 3 years, and the third year, that's what's going to happen next year, but they aren't due technically until September 2021. So we can kind of fit that in. It'll probably take a couple of months, a small group of people to review them, suggest edits, and then the commission will need to approve them. So probably a couple of months just to get all of those iterations taken care of, but wouldn't have to happen early in 21, just by like roughly September 2021. And then the last sort of new thing we talked about was developing a DEI work plan that was specific to this commission to make sure that we are more welcoming to underrepresented groups and making sure that their voices are heard and not tokenized within this group. And I think that work will be super interesting and could take a bunch of different directions depending on who wants to take leadership over that kind of work. But those were the three big ones that I had on the list. I have a bunch of other things that are like more in our signature category, like proclamations, PennFest, the naturalization ceremony, like all of that stuff we will add back, and hopefully it will happen. Given the pandemic, we're just gonna hope that does. But those were the three new ones that I remembered we'd previously talked about. And then to that, I can add just sort of placeholder text about the Latinx presentation in case we want to revisit that at some point. So now open forum to everybody else and things that you think should be added to the work plan that I can get added to the draft.
Is that my cue right there?
Do it, yes.
Oh. Yeah, no, the idea that I had was, since we're on the page of being out front on inclusiveness, and we've already passed, as one of only 2 suburbs, gender inclusion policy, I would like to start the ball rolling or plant a seed and make Richfield a city that bans conversion therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that it looks like Biden's going to win.
Right.
I've been watching Kornacki up here up to my left. He is explaining why Biden is about to take the lead in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's it. That's 270, 373.
Right.
It's not in yet, but
hopefully tomorrow we'll know the results.
maybe
awesome.
in a little while. Actually, it looks like.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And it looks like he's going to win Georgia too, as a matter of fact. From what
I think he's going to take everything except North Carolina, but that's just my wishful thinking, I think.
That's what it's looking like, actually.
So I'm happy to add the conversion therapy ban to the list, but Mara,
Great.
and as a reminder to everybody that the work that we commit to is driven by commissioners. So Mara, I know this is something you're interested in, but that would mean like forming small committees and getting people on board to assist with that process. And that's true for all the things on the plan.
It would be my honor to take leadership on this issue.
Awesome. With regard to proclamations, does anybody know about any sort of big anniversaries? Like this year we hit 2 big anniversaries related to the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. And then I think there was a big anniversary around the ADA as well. So I don't know if there are natural pockets of proclamations. What am I saying? Natural fit for a proclamation because of an anniversary that might be coming up. So that might be something over the next month for everybody who's interested to do a little research. And then in December, we can talk a little bit more about where there might be a natural fit in that area.
Yeah, the other thing on my list that would be a carryover because it didn't happen in 2020 would be the Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. That was, had undergone some planning. I think it would be great to have the HRC involved in that. And and hopefully that can happen in 2021.
Agree. And I believe, I'm gonna have to go back and check notes, but I think we got grant money for that celebration. So like with the housing workshop, there is money that is available and kind of sitting and hanging out, I believe. So thank you for the reminder on that one, Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. And with that, I will take responsibility for that, but we had originally said we were going to do 4 proclamations this year. We did 3, and then the Indigenous Peoples Day one kind of fell off the radar. So that one didn't happen, which I think could be nice if we are able to do an event next year and pair the 2 of them together again. So I'm going to write that as a potential proclamation. Okay. And that reminded me that Brett was working on a structural racism in Richfield event too. And I don't really think that she was leading it. There were other people in the city who really had taken the lead, and it was more we were going to be partnering. And I think that when COVID hit, much of that work kind of ground to a halt because it was event based. So I'm happy to ask Brett who those contacts were, so we can kind of keep that in mind too, if that's something that the commission wants to pick back up again. And we're under no obligation to do so, but just as a point of having a robust set of ideas for the next commission.
Where are we? Are we done with the census now? Is that something we need to leave on the work plan?
Yes.
Go ahead, Todd.
I think, was it October 15th? It was abruptly ended.
Abruptly indeed. It ended 2 weeks earlier than it was supposed to. And I'm sure you've all heard the news that essentially the president declared the census done, even though it wasn't the outlined timeline. And in large part, it was in order to control the census data, specifically related to redistricting. Should he lose the election, he wanted the ability to have his hands in that. So,
he's also claiming the electors in 3 states.
Yeah, all around not great. But the good news I did hear is that Minnesota had the highest response rate for the census out of all the states. Mary's nodding, so apparently good. I'm glad that's factual. Yes, go us. You're muted. I see you gesturing and talking, but you're muted.
I think you're correct. I'm not positive, but I think we are way up there anyway.
Yeah, cool. So things didn't look like we had thought they were going to, but I'm glad we still had a good response rate. I think it was in the 70s, maybe even mid 70s last I saw.
I don't remember
Minnesota.
I don't remember from the last census how kind of not follow-up efforts, but like dissemination or kind of like back-end efforts go. But I wonder if there's anything we could do for that, assuming that the data will be available. If there's something we could do like in the community to be like, you know, thank you for participating. And if we have information on like how well Richfield did or something, I don't know if that's something we could put on the work plan. So maybe instead of like continuing to have to work on the census, maybe if people are interested down the road, we could do some kind of digital event or something like that that kind of says, you know, like what did taking the census do for Richfield?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that would be, I say that like it would be it feels like it would be easy to get a hold of that data because the city was able to provide data from the last time on those kinds of things. It's just, I think, a matter of when it will become available. But yeah, I'm writing it down. I think census communication would be great. Cool. So right now I have a list of 10 things, which I think is pretty strong for a 10-minute brainstorm about this. So over the next month, think through a couple of more things, whatever comes to mind, you can email me, I'll add it to the draft plan. And then again, we aren't committing to anything because that should really be the job of the 2021 commission. But this will give everybody a nice starting spot of things to think about. Unless there's anything anybody wants to add, I'm happy to move on for now, and we'll revisit that in December. Cool. Just like 15 minutes before this meeting, I sent you guys the draft annual report. I don't expect that anybody read it in that 15 minutes, but feel free to shoot me feedback on that. Anything at all, additions. Mostly I'm worried I forgot about something. I tried to go back through notes in the 2019 plan to capture everything, but I'm sure I have left something off. So send me edits by November 15th, and then after I hear from everybody, I'll circulate a final plan and officially submit it to the city.
Heather, I actually read it.
Yes,
that's really good. Yeah, you hit all the headlines. I really like that you listed that we talked about the statistics, police statistics and stuff, and even mentioned the stuff that didn't really happen, like PenFest. So yeah, I think you pretty much covered it, considering, you know, the last 9 months we haven't really had that much to do. It looks like we did.
Well, part of what helped, and I will just be honest, is that the last report was submitted in May 2019. So that fest, I made a notation. It was PenFest 2019 that I talk about there. The report kind of covers a year and 4 or 5 months, which gives us a little bit more stuff to talk about. It's padded a little bit, but all good stuff. So feel free to send any edits for content additions, or like you use the wrong there. I need that stuff too. So, and then I can submit to Susie, who's asking me if I want to present in December. Yeah, Susie, I'm happy to present at the December meeting. Oh, that's fine, if there's room on the agenda. So, cool. There's that. All right. Chris is not here to talk about the partnership, so we're just going to hold that conversation until December. We already talked about the census and the equity policy discussion. I feel like we kind of breezed through things here. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to bring up or talk about? Or that I have forgotten to talk about?
Well, just to make, looking over the bylaws that Chris had sent out for like Edina and Golden Valley.
Yeah.
I think they're the only two she sent out. The one thing I really didn't like about the Edina bylaws is that it lists the thing and then it says refer to the city code. So it's like Golden Valley, like actually listed the information. And I think we do too in ours.
We do, yeah.
And I belong to several organizations that are like subordinates of other organizations, and you know, in their individual bylaws, they take that information from the original bylaws and put it in their bylaws, so you don't have to be looking for another set or flipping back and forth and stuff. I didn't really like Edina's, but Golden Valley did a really good job.
Yeah, I think that it was really helpful information that Chris sent both to, I think it serves two purposes. One, to think about ways that we might want to change or shape our bylaws, like our other places talking about things that, would be great for us to add. And then the second piece is learning more about what other human rights commissions do and ways that we might think about expanding or changing our work. It just might give us some better ideas about kind of shaping the vision for the group. So I think both of those pieces will be helpful for the 2021 work plan in particular, and a couple of the items that we've listed there.
And the other thing I liked when, as far as the human rights awards and stuff, is like several of them have like not just the one category. They have like a particularly I like the youth category that several of them had. Like with essays or whatever. I really like that idea of not just highlighting like, an adult that's in, outstanding citizen. I really like the idea that they're reaching down into the youth and, making sure that they're getting an early start on equity and diversity and all these thoughts and stuff. So
yeah,
I think it would be nice if somewhere down the line, we did something like that, like an essay contest or something like that in Richfield.
I'm going to kind of do a slash here by the Outstanding Citizen Award, like for two reasons. Either we could look to add something about an essay contest, or make it more clear that our current Outstanding Citizen Award can be for a youth member. Like I don't think it has to be an adult, because youth also make fantastic impacts in our community. So I will add that there to kind of figure out how we would want to work that in. Okay. Does anybody have anything they would like to add? Cool. I know we're all eager to get back to watching the news as peeled. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
A second?
Second.
Great, thanks. I assume everybody's in favor?
Yes.
Cool. All right, see you guys in December.